I welcome thee to the Reader's Guild. Here we go. Today I am going to be telling you about Percy Jackson and the Olympians, the Lightning Thief. This series I read over the summer, and as I keep repeating, I read it in 2 weeks, which is the fastest I've ever read a series. And since this is a 5-book series, that is pretty impressive. And you probably could have finished it in a week. But yeah, I stayed up really late reading, so just don't judge me. So, read about each book in 2 days, so this book was, I had actually started reading this book in 5th grade, but I stopped because I had borrowed it from a teacher, and so I had to return it. And so this is a series about Greek mythology. It is a fantasy twist about Greek mythology, the gods, the goddesses, different buildings, Mount Olympus, and then demigods, all that. And I've always been fascinated with Greek mythology, and this book is really funny. It has got a lot of little jokes in there that'll just make you giggle while you're reading it. Like they could be in the midst of battle, and Percy comes out with a joke about something, and it's just hilarious. But I have the summary. I went based off of this and then what I remembered and some things like that. It's not entirely mine. I did take a lot from the back because I had a short period of time to get it ready, but I have the summary for you ready, and I will read that for you. Here is the summary that I've loosely used the actual summary. I did change it up to make it sound better in my head, I guess, but here it is. Percy has been kicked out of many schools all his life and is about to be kicked out of another. But it isn't even the biggest of his problems. The mythical creatures he learns about in his classes have somehow found a way to wreak havoc on the real world, and he has angered a few of them. Zeus, the king of all gods, has had his master lightning bolt stolen, and Percy has been blamed for it. Percy has 10 days to find Zeus' bolt and bring peace between the gods. But in order to do this, he has to make amends to a father who abandoned him, solve a riddle of the oracle, which warns him of a friend's betrayal, and return of the knowledge there is something far worse and more powerful than the gods themselves. So this series starts off of him being 12. He is 12 years old in the series in the beginning, and it goes all the way till I think he's 16, maybe, in the end. Somewhere around there. It is very fast-paced. That is why I was able to read it real fast. And to me, it is a small book. It looks kind of big by the way it's printed, but it's not really. And there's also like the extra chapters in the back. I don't know what edition you would have gotten. I don't know if this one is still the recent edition of the series out right now. And it is very fast. There's a lot of things going on, but it doesn't overwhelm your brain, and it is not too hard to follow. Sometimes it just gets like, what happened there? Okay, and you'll get it. Because most books, there's a lot of books out there you'll read and you'll be confused for the majority of the book. But by the time you reach the last few chapters, everything pieces together in your brain, and it makes a lot more sense than it did when you first started. And this book, as I keep repeating, has a fabulous humor aspect into it, with all of the jokes Percy makes, his friends make, anybody makes. They're all just hilarious, and it makes the book just 10 times better. I do recommend that people who read this be 12 or older, because I think that at that age a lot of the stuff in the book you'll be able to understand it a lot more. And of course the books were, when they were written, they were spaced apart, so like a little while and you would be like different ages after all the books came out finally and you read them all. But it still makes sense. You would be able to understand everything around the ages 12 and 13 to read this. I cannot express this enough that I really enjoyed this book and the series. And this book greatly deserves the 9.999999999 I'm giving it. Because I can't use the 10. I might be exaggerating by going 15 on one of them, but I can't use the 10, or when I was doing the 5, I can't do the 5. The 10 has to be saved for the absolute amazing book in my mind. And as I said, I did start reading this for the first time in a fifth grade when I borrowed the book, but never finished it, and I had to return it because I had it forever. But I got the entire series for my 12th birthday. And I didn't read it yet. I had kept it in my room because I had so many other books I had started and not finished. I was trying to get with them all. And then around that time, almost finished 6th grade when I got this. And then over the summer, I didn't read much. But then 7th grade, I got into the Battle of the Books, so I couldn't read anything else. And so the summer between 7th and 8th now, I read a lot. And so that's when I read this. So it's been about 2 years, almost. Not quite yet, because I'm not 14 yet. It's been almost 2 years since I've had this book series. I do believe it is a great book series. Now, I already showed the bookmark in my last video, showing all the bookmarks to the different books that I've already reviewed, because I forgot to show you my beautiful artistic abilities of making my bookmarks, because I have gotten into this thing where I always make bookmarks for my books now. I don't use any bought bookmarks anymore. I make them myself because I feel like it just gives that more personal vibe to it, and that you really enjoyed it. And if you already know you're going to enjoy it, I would suggest doing as much work on the bookmark as you possibly can, so it can be kept as a keepsake kind of thing, as I've been doing with all of my bookmarks and putting them in this box. They were originally in those clear drawers over there, somewhere in one of them. I think it was the empty one right there. Anyway, they were in there, but they were getting big, so I moved them into the box. They still are a little big for the box because I just make big bookmarks. But again, this is the bookmark for Percy Jackson and my very sad string on it. It's too late to change it now because I've already used it on the book, and so it is stuck this way. I have very specific rules when I make bookmarks and when I use them and when I don't, because I haven't reused any bookmarks I've made for a specific series on anything else, other than the origami heart that I used for broken things, because that wasn't very specific. I was just bored because I finished my work in science, and so I made an origami heart, and it just happened to be used as the bookmark for broken things, and so now I'm using it for Before I Fall by the same author, Lauren Oliver, because it's the same author. And so it's just like, yeah, just do that. Because unless it's the same author, I don't really reuse bookmarks. But yeah, that's what I do with my bookmarks. And this book is 375 pages long, which is not that big to me, and which puts it around 112,500 words. That's a lot of words. And I will continue with this series next week, which I will be doing Percy Jackson and the Olympians, but the Sea of Monsters. And there was 5 books in this series, and I will be making a playlist and putting it like that to group them all together like I did with the Serafina series reviews. And so there we have it for this week. This week, I hope these videos have been helping you all and that you're able to find books for you or anybody else to read and that they seem interesting and that I'm doing a good job trying to tell you about them. And fly you high, Overlanders. Oh, by the way, I'm still putting the link for suggesting books and series to me. It's going to be in the description all the time now. They can be books you want me to review, you want me to read and review at some point, or they can just be books that you think I might be interested in and that I can read just for fun, and I can choose whether or not to review them. But there's that. Yeah. Turnips.